Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Today I wanted to make a video for those of you that are going to be traveling to Portugal and maybe other parts of Europe this summer. I just want to make sure that you're aware of strikes. Transportation strikes are a way of life, and that's not just Portugal. That's why I wanted to preface at the top. If you're heading to Portugal, you're going to deal with them. If you're heading across Europe, you're going to deal with them. And mainly in the train, tube, sometimes tram sector, not as much in the bus area. Although I will say sometimes it will extend to the airlines, not so much the airline itself, but the airport employees. It could be everything from immigration, so they'll go on strike. So that way it takes forever to get through immigration hall, depending on where you're going. Often it's transportation, train strikes more than anything. But it happens in the summertime mostly because it causes a high level of disruption for tourists, which then that gets back to the government. And then once they hear a lot of complaints, maybe they'll do something about working conditions and wages, which is what most of this is about. But for those of you that have been traveling for quite some time, let's say the last few years into Europe, you'll see that often the issue is a year-round issue, not just a summer issue. So as I'm making this video, it's the springtime, but you might have a transportation strike at any point in time in Portugal, as well as other countries in Europe. Also, if you're going to the UK, they've been dealing with transportation strikes, for the last couple of years. Much of this really came through and manifested itself during the pandemic, where people were just working extra hours, extra shifts, essential versus non-essential. And I don't think from reading news reports and watching on TV that the people feel like they've been made whole, the employees that worked all this extra time, either in time off or extra pay or salary increases or just better working conditions. So if you're going to be traveling to Portugal or other countries, often when you're going to Europe, you may be hitting several countries in your trip. I would expect delays and always be aware. Check local websites, local newspapers, check the news to see if there's any rail strikes, bus strikes, tube strikes, tram strikes, airport strikes, where you're going to be venturing. It will save you a lot of hassle and a lot of frustration. As I say all this, you may ask, well, so should we be renting a car and not doing public transportation? I'm not saying that at all. I think public transportation is still the best way to see Europe, best way to get around Portugal, and the most cost effective. But what I will say too, specific to Portugal, buses seem to have less issues when it comes to striking. And I'll say, especially like Reedy Expressos, I think in all the years that we've taken that, I don't think there were any strikes that I can recall. But sometimes Caris, the strike in particular city bus, if you will, in Lisbon, they have had some strike issues in the past. But it's usually railways, more common than anything else. And then sometimes at airports, with baggage staff, transportation handlers, or baggage handlers, as well as immigration, passport control. Sometimes that can be really messy. So if you're going there, just want to make sure you're aware of this. And I just found out today from someone, that's why I'm also going to make a separate video, that the electronic passport area in the Lisbon Immigration Hall is not working right now. So hopefully they'll get new kiosks in place soon. I'm going to make a quick video to that point. But for those of you going, beware of strikes. It happens fairly often. Be aware of it and think about a plan B for getting from point A to point B, whether it be Porto to Lisbon to the Algarve or wherever you're going in Portugal. As always, thank you so much for watching and enjoy your travels.